Hi NIRSA colleagues, I'm back for another blog post. Today I am coming to you from our brand new outdoor pool here at UNH. It actually will open later today to the public. It's been a project that I've worked on since I started here 4 years ago. So we're pretty excited to roll this out. But our NIRSA topic today is about the board of directors and a little bit about the different positions that make up the board of directors. So each year, members vote on 2 different positions, both the presidential track and at-large director for the board. And each of those are 3-year time commitments for folks. So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between each one of those. So the presidential track has 3 different terms or titles as you go throughout those 3 years. So you start off as president-elect, and then the second year is president-designee, and then the 3rd year is president. And sometimes people kind of forget which title goes with which year. So I found it helpful to use the analogy with kind of used in baseball and track and field, and I think maybe even swimming. So if you think of the president-elect position being as in the hole, and then the president-designee position is on deck, and then the president is obviously the president. So that's kind of how those 3-year cycles work. Whereas for the at-large director position, it's just called the at-large director position for all 3 years. But it helps to have 3, so essentially on the board at one time there's 3 different at-large members. And so typically the members who have been on the board for their 2nd and 3rd year help out the new at-large member to get oriented, to help fill in background information on issues that we've been talking about for a long time, say like our strategic plan process, something like that. So those are the 2 3-year terms, and then each year the board can add 1 to say 3 typically what are called annual directors, and those are appointed by the board, and that typically happens in the early part of the year in terms of like February, March type time frame. So what happens is the board waits to see who gets elected, and then we look at all of the skills and experiences at the table and identify what gaps does the board have, and then we seek out a colleague or 2 or 3 that has that background to then round out the expertise of the board. And so that's how sometimes the number of members on the board will change periodically. So that's kind of a little summary of the different positions. One thing that isn't quite as visible that takes place too is that each board member has a unique responsibility. So say typically the president designee is the chair of the nominations and appointments committee, and then another board member will be chairing the finance committee, and another one will serve on the foundation board. So there's often another connection to a different part of NIRSA that a board member will serve on, if that makes sense. So if some of this information helps you, especially those of you who are considering standing for the position, that first round of the election process actually happens the end of September. So be on the lookout for nomination information, and I think we'll add a link to that on this website. So thanks for tuning in today. I look forward to seeing you next time.